There is a photo of you from about 10 years ago. You do not look younger in it. You look like someone else. And there was no single day when that changed. A late night used to cost you a morning. Now it costs 2 days. You stand up and you make a noise you never used to make. Nothing is wrong. People just call it getting older. But nobody tells you what that actually is. Everything alive dies. It feels like a rule of the universe. It is not, and I can show you using your own hand. Pinch the skin on the back of your hand right now. Pull it up. Hold it for 3 seconds, then let go and watch. On a small child, that skin snaps back instantly, flat, gone. The older you get, the longer it sits there like a little tent. That is not damage from one bad day. That is a slow running down. Something inside you is quietly losing the ability to fix itself. So aging feels like a law, like gravity. Just how the world is. But there is an animal alive right now that was born before your country existed, and another one whose chance of dying does not go up as it gets older. At all. Aging is not a law of nature, it is more like a setting. And here is the part that changes how you think about it. Aging is not your body failing. Aging is your body doing exactly what it was built to do. Stick with me. By the end you will know why you die, and why that answer is oddly hopeful. Start with the shark. In the freezing water near Greenland, there is a shark that moves like it has nowhere to be. For a long time, nobody knew how old they got, because sharks have no bones to count rings in. So scientists found a trick. They read the shark's eye. The lens of the eye is built when the animal is a baby, and never replaced. So it carries a record of the year it was made. The answer came back at over 270 years old. The biggest one they measured came out around 390, give or take a lot. That shark was swimming before electricity, before your grandparents' grandparents. And it does not even have babies until it is about 150. Now the strangest one. A little pink animal that lives underground. The naked mole rat, wrinkly, nearly blind, and about the size of your thumb. For almost every animal, including you, there is a grim rule. The older you get, the more likely you are to die this year. Every year, a little more likely. The naked mole rat breaks it. Scientists tracked thousands of them for years. A very old mole rat was no more likely to die tomorrow than a young one. Other scientists pushed back on that. The team ran it again with twice the data and got the same answer. The clock is running. The risk just does not climb. Then there is a tiny jellyfish that can do something sillier. When it is hurt or starving, it collapses into a blob and grows back as a baby version of itself. It is not invincible. Things still eat it. It still gets sick. It just does not wear out. When scientists lined up species across the whole tree of life, they found every pattern. Some species get more likely to die as they age. Some stay flat, and a few get less likely. So aging is not required. Which raises an obvious question. If it can be avoided, why did evolution give it to us? Here's the answer, and it is colder than you expect. Evolution cannot see you after you have had children. Think about what evolution actually is. Some living things have more babies than others, and whatever helped them do that gets passed on. That is the whole machine. There is no plan, and nobody is checking on you. So a gene that ruins your body at 80 has almost no way of being punished. By 80, you already had your kids. The gene already got a free ride. And for most of history, almost nobody reached 80 anyway. A wild mouse does not die of old age. Something eats it first. So harmful things that only show up late just pile up, unopposed. Nobody was ever selecting them out. That is the first reason. Here's the second, and it is worse. Imagine a gene that makes you stronger and faster in your 20s, and the exact same gene slowly stiffens your body by your 60s. Evolution keeps that gene, happily. Because the payoff comes when it counts, and the bill arrives when nobody's looking. You are, in part, paying off a loan your young body took out. And the third reason is just budgeting. Repairing a body costs energy, real energy. Food you have to go and find. Every scrap you spend on perfect repair is a scrap you did not spend on having babies. So bodies get built good enough to last through the breeding years. Not forever. Those three ideas are not rivals. Most scientists think all three are running at once. And now the shark and the mole rat make sense. A mole rat lives deep underground where almost nothing can reach it. A Greenland shark lives in cold, dark water and almost nothing hunts it. When almost nothing kills you from the outside, the sums flip. Suddenly it pays to build a body that lasts, because you might actually get to use it. Aging is not a flaw in the design. Aging is the design. So that is why. Now how? What is actually breaking? Let me give you 3 and skip the rest, because the list is long and the point is simple. First, your cells cannot divide forever. Take human cells, put them in a dish, feed them perfectly, keep them safe. They divide roughly 40 to 60 times, then they simply stop. Part of the reason is the end of your chromosomes. Think of the plastic tip on a shoelace. It stops the lace fraying. The strands inside your cells have one of those on each end. Every time a cell copies itself, that tip gets a tiny bit shorter. Run it down far enough and the cell stops dividing to keep itself safe. Second, the cells that stop do not politely disappear. Some of them sit there, refusing to die. Scientists call them senescent. You can think of them as zombie cells. And they leak chemicals that irritate the healthy tissue around them. A few is nothing. A lifetime's worth is a body quietly simmering. Third, your power supply gets sloppy. Every cell has tiny engines that turn food into usable energy. Over decades, they run less cleanly and make more mess while doing it. Scientists have a list of these processes. It started at 9. It is now 12. You do not need to remember them. You need the shape of it. Aging is not one broken part. It is a dozen slow leaks at once. And there is a real argument about what that means. Is aging just damage piling up? Or is some of it an actual plan running? Honestly, that is not settled. Anyone who tells you it is selling something. Now here is the bit that matters for you personally. Nobody writes old age on a death certificate. They write heart disease, cancer, stroke, dementia. So we treat those as separate enemies, separate charities, separate research. But look at who gets them. Almost all of them are rare when you are young and common when you are old. Aging is the thing that loads every one of those guns. And it does it at a speed you can put a number on. Once you are an adult, your chance of dying this year roughly doubles every 8 years. Not a bit worse. Twice, then twice again, then twice again. It is small when the number is small, which is why you never feel it in your 30s. And then it is not small at all. Now think about what that means for curing diseases. Suppose we cured cancer tomorrow. Completely. All of it. The people saved would mostly go on to die of the other age-related things not long after. You would add a few years. A gift, but a few years. But slow the aging underneath and you push all of them back at once. That is the argument for treating aging itself as the target. So can we? Here's where I have to be careful with you. There are real results. They are almost all in animals. The oldest one is simply eating less. Feed a mouse noticeably less food, but keep its nutrition complete, and it lives longer. Reliably. 2 long studies did this with monkeys. For decades. And they disagreed. One found the monkeys lived longer. The other found no clear gain in lifespan. But both found the same thing about health. Less disease, better bodies. Later. Then there's a drug called rapamycin, first found in soil on a remote island. Given to mice, it extends their lives. Even when it is started when they are already old. In humans, it is a real medicine with real side effects, and it is not proven to extend life. Next, the zombie cells. If they cause harm, what if you cleared them out? In mice, that works well enough to look like science fiction. They move better and live longer. In humans, those trials are small and early. Promising is the honest word, not proven. And then there is the one you have seen in headlines, rewinding cells to a younger state. In mice, in a dish, in careful doses, some signs of age really do go backwards. That is genuinely astonishing, and it is genuinely not a treatment you can have. So here is the honest scoreboard. We have moved average lifespan enormously, mostly by stopping people dying young. But the record for the longest human life belongs to a woman who died in 1997. 122 years, and in all the time since, nobody has beaten it. We got much better at not dying early. We have barely touched the ceiling. One more thing you can check on yourself before you go. Turn one arm over. Compare the skin on the inside of your upper arm with the back of your hand. Same person, same age, same number of years. The inside of your arm looks younger, often much younger, because it has spent your whole life hidden from the sun. A lot of what you call old skin is not time at all. It is sunlight, quietly adding up. Aging is not one clock ticking down inside you. It is a pile of separate processes, some of which we can already touch. So back to your hand, and that little tent of skin that took a moment to flatten. You are not wearing out like a machine wears out. You were shaped by a process that stopped paying attention the moment you could have children. Your body is not failing you. It was never asked to last this long. And a thing that was never asked can one day be asked. Not yet. Not by a pill you can buy today. But it is not a law, and that matters. Your body is full of hidden settings like this one, and the next one is even stranger.